Moving right along as I'm trying to pack so much awesome into one show, Lili Haydn. Lili Haydn is a virtuoso violinist and activist. Whether she's creating sweeping scores for activist films or playing political events, her work is yet another powerfully beautiful example of artful activism. Last week, she performed at Healthcare for All, Medicare's 50th anniversary event in Los Angeles. So we headed downtown to capture some of the performance and talk to her about her work. Take a look. Lili, thank you so much for joining us right after your show. I wanted to ask you, why did you feel that it was important to be here today?
It's the only solution. This is an atrocity in America. The only, Western country without health care as a right for all people. And also on a personal note, my father died of cancer without health insurance. And it was too late by the time he went to the emergency room. So like that. Keeping it light.
Right, well, that's the thing. It's very heavy issues that you deal with. I mean, healthcare is not the only issue that you talk about, and yet your music has such an intense feeling of hope in it, in your words, in your playing. How do you balance those things, like the intense issues with that message of hope?
I don't know. I mean, same way you do, art kills apathy. Apathy isn't an option because you might as well just slit your throat right now if you're gonna go there. Because, and actually, here's a little story for you. So I like to play at funerals. No, I don't like to, but I violin, and I played for my friend's mom's memorial, and the rabbi there, it was right around Hanukkah, and he said the story of Hanukkah is that the temple was destroyed, and in order to reconsecrate the temple, they only had enough oil for one night. But they burned it, and it lasted for 8 nights. So the rabbis, the sages say, why do we celebrate for 8 nights when there was technically only 7 nights of a miracle, since they actually had enough oil for the first night? And the answer is that the first night, the biggest miracle was that in the face of the destruction of the temple, somebody actually thought to reconsecrate the temple. That they actually thought, all right, we're just going to fucking do this. And I think that's a quote from the Torah. It's the human spirit, and this is what's beloved about humanity. This is what I love about human beings, that in the face of destruction, we think, oh, keep going, and that there's still something lovable, that we can see just a flicker of spirit.
Where do you get your inspiration for these songs, and where do you find the hope in the midst of these issues as an activist?
Really, it's just about sort of taking the spark and then being able to, and that's why somehow I was a poli-sci major, and I wanted to be a human rights lawyer, and then I realized that I didn't have the stomach for it, and that there might be actually more efficacy in opening people's hearts with music, and I realized that when my theory is My theory is that most bad behavior comes from people not feeling that they have enough, not feeling themselves. And so I think that what music does is it makes people feel themselves a little bit more. And when you start to feel yourself, you can feel the person in front of you a little bit more. And then when you can start to feel, it's like just by, it's kind of a piece of attrition in a way. My mom, the wonderful stand-up comedian Lotus Weinstock, used to say, the Bible says, love your neighbors, you love yourself. But if you don't love yourself, your neighbor's in trouble. If you don't like yourself, your neighbor's in trouble. So it starts with feeling and just feeling, feeling your heart, feeling my heart, feeling your heart, and feeling your heart.
Which is perfect because music and art has that tremendous ability to reach people emotionally before they have to think about something. So it sort of insidiously bleeds into the conscious after it's already hit you emotionally, which is very obvious when you listen to your music, because if you don't feel anything after you listen to your music, then you have no soul, or at least no central nervous system. So I'm curious, you released Lilyland last year. What are you working on right now?
I am working on some music for a movie and a television show. So I like to infiltrate in all the different mediums and new music. And collaborating with different people. I'm always doing activist work, always performing for some kind of cause. Actually, just to speak to your last point, one of the reasons that I love to perform for causes and why I feel that music has its place is that there's only so much time you can spend, from the neck up, and people go numb. If they don't feel it, then they're not receptive to the concepts, to the policies. So I like to, break your heart and then give you a little, policy.
For more information on Lili and her work, check out LiliHaydn.com.